We're going to take the more fun, interesting teams to look at. We're going to start with one that most of America hates. But if they're still America's team nonetheless. We're going to go with the Dallas Cowboys to start things off. Blowing it up, reload, or run it back. Kelsey, I'll let you take the lead on this one. What should the Cowboys do this offseason?
Yeah, if you had asked me at the beginning of the season, my answer is still the same. It is still blow it up. Whatever you've been doing in the draft room hasn't worked. Whatever you've been doing in the scouting room hasn't necessarily worked. You overperformed this year. You were saved by a George Pickens who went off, who is still a fantastic. I think your receiving core, that stays, leave them alone. If the second half Dak Prescott continues to play out this way, then keep Dak Prescott. That's fine. You need a running back. You need offensive linemen. You need defensive linemen outside of your two new additions this year. You need linebackers outside of your new addition this year. You need secondary help. Now, not that I hate their secondary, but you definitely need secondary help. There's no doubt about it. You can't
secondary that can all play at the same time instead of rotating injuries. My goodness.
You have 4 guys that need to start every week, and you could barely field 4. So there's a problem there. And your receivers outside of your top 2 need help. But, I think you have a solid tight end. You have a solid top 2 receivers, that probably outstanding top 2 receivers, if we're being honest. And then you have a quarterback who is 50-50. You also need, I'm sorry, I like the Schottenheimer situation as an OC. I still stand by that. I don't love him as a head coach, although he hasn't really done anything to really disappoint me this year. So that's cool. But yeah, I think as a whole, you got to blow this one up. Like, you have too many holes to fill to not think about blowing it up. That's where I'm at. Also, I stand by this until Jerry Jones hands the team off, not even to Steven, until Steven hands it off to somebody else at this point in time. I don't even know if this team will ever actually fully blow it up anymore. I think they're just going to keep trying to figure out ways to retool. And so I hate that. But yeah, for Cowboys fans, good luck. Enjoy the rebuild.
What I would say is, if Jerry Jones hands the team off to somebody else that's not even a Jones, then I say you go and blow it up, because then you got time and you don't have that issue. But since that's not the case, and I'm gonna put a big old caveat on it. If you're going to re-sign George Pickens, then you reload this bad boy. If you're gonna let him walk, then just destroy the whole thing at this point. Like, that was, as you mentioned, your strength of your team was when him and CeeDee Lamb were both cooking at the same time.
Yeah.
I love what Schottenheimer's offense. I actually thank you for putting a quarterback under center, Schotty. Thank you. The best teams in the NFL, I don't have the data, incorporate going under center. The worst teams are 99% in shotgun, and I hate it. You need to be able to be bounced on. 4th and 1, I digress. That's not the topic of conversation here. Javonte Williams dramatically overperformed this year. The offensive line, when it was healthy, it had its moments. The problem is they were never healthy consistently. Ferguson, my goodness, a top 10 tight end. The receiving core, you can make a case that was the best receiving duo in the NFL. Dak was really good for the most part. Defensively, as you mentioned, when you brought in Quinnen, there was a sign of hope. Like, it's like, yeah, Logan Wilson, but I'm going to say reload if you're going to bring back George Pickens and keep what you do have, because you do have the extra draft pick from the Packers. You do have assets to reload. And the NFC East, as you saw this year, like, Philadelphia stumbled ass backwards into winning the division at this point, really, because they've been up and down in the Cowboys with it. Like, there's some work to be done. So I'll say reload, but if you're going to let George Pickens walk, then at that point, just blow it up. Like, keep your strength. But we'll go with reload it for this one. But there's some holes there. There's definitely some holes that need to be plugged with.